So, yes, having to vote for your last or second to last choice is exactly what we're trying to prevent here, which is to get the top few to bubble up and have we the people, we the conservative people, pick the one that most of us like the most, so that your second or third choice is not going to be your last choice. And now, it's my great pleasure, I'd like to welcome a serial entrepreneur, former chairman of the Republican Liberty Caucus, New Hampshire, promoter of conservative candidates, former candidate for governor of New Hampshire, and a thorn in the side of the political establishment. Also a founding member of the 603 Alliance, my friend Andrew Hemingway.
There's a battle to be won. Wake up, America. You're too young to die. Let's roll, America.
Thank you.
The Lord's on our side.
Thank you very much. Wow, this is great. What a great day, huh? Lots of good information. You guys have been sitting still and engaged for a long time, and it's very impressive. It's very good. I am here today to talk about how. I'm going to answer the question, how. How do we do this? Because on its surface, you say, well, conservatives, we're going to work together, right? Come on. We've got all these different, parts of our movement, right? We've got all these different factions, but what is it that we're going to do? So I want to take a step back, and I want to take, sort of a little leisurely walk, and I want to consider first the big picture. Jim touched on it briefly, but let me paint for you a much clearer picture. But first, I need to tell you about my 3 children. They are, I have three kids, Morgan, Connor, and Turner. Turner's just turned 6 months, and he's fat. This kid is, he's unbelievable. But he's adorable, and we love him very, very much. My kids, we live right in the middle. About a mile down the road is my parents, and a mile down the road is my wife's parents. And so every birthday, every Easter, every Halloween, Christmas, right? You guys get the idea. Occasionally just Saturday mornings, right? They'll drop donuts off, stuff like that. My kids really, in the best way possible, they get really spoiled. They're spoiled. It's amazing. They get 3 birthdays. They get 3 everything. And in a similar way to my kids, they have a lot of very good things. We, this weekend, I think, and when you look at the slate of presidential candidates, we are getting spoiled this time around, aren't we? There are, you could say 10, 15. We're hearing about just yesterday new governors from, Midwest. And, everybody and their brother, it seems like, is looking to run for president. But it's not just anybody. There's real, qualified, credible, articulate candidates. And there's 4, 5, 6, 7 of those that probably would appear on all of our tops of these lists, right? That we all say, wow, I don't know. Wow, I really like that. Oh, I just heard this. Oh, that is really great. But I agree with this guy on that thing, and I agree with this guy on that, right? We're spoiled this time around. When you look at past cycles of who we had running, like Bob Dole, I think, we actually have a really great slate this time around, don't we? So, this fantastic slate, this smorgasbord of articulate conservative candidates leads us, though, to a problem. And it may be our greatest strength, but it's like most strengths, they ultimately become weaknesses as well. What is this? What is this problem that I'm talking about? Well, Jim alluded to it, and it's obvious, and everybody in the room knows what it is. As soon as I say it, you're going to say, yeah, we know. Jeb Bush will be the establishment moderates' choice for the nominee. They will consolidate around him. They will use brute force, okay? They will use any underhanded tactic possible to ensure that everybody consolidates. Lindsey Graham is only talking about running for president right now so that he can nullify the conservative impact of South Carolina, okay? This is part of the establishment plan. Go through the steps. Go through the process. Look at it and go, oh yeah, this makes sense. Chris Christie is not running for president, folks. I may be, you can call me wrong when he runs, but he's not running. They are going to set this up, and it is going to be Jeb Bush. That's the bad news. The worst news is that on the other side, we have 15, 16, 17, 18 credible candidates that we all want to vote for. And we're going to vote for. And therein lies our problem. I don't know about you, but I'm tired of losing. And in losing over and over and over again, we see a unprecedented decline in freedom, right? In prosperity, and it goes on and on and on. Folks, it is incumbent upon us in this room to decide to start winning, to decide that we can actually do something to save our country and to save the freedoms and the prosperity that have been granted to us. We can do that. Here's how the 603 Alliance would like to start to solve this problem. Because if we leave here today and we continue on the same path, we will lose. It doesn't matter if you like Ted Cruz, you're going to lose. It doesn't matter if you like Rand Paul, you're going to lose. Ben Carson is going to do it. No, he's not. You can't split your vote up 15 times and expect to win. It's not going to happen. So the question is, when we started this process was, can we consolidate the conservative candidates? We all know the answer to that, okay? These guys are invested. They're raising millions upon millions of dollars. They're going to run. So we can't convince candidates to drop out. So the only other option for us is to consolidate conservative voters. But how do we do that in a way that checks off the boxes for everybody, that doesn't leave anybody disenfranchised, that doesn't leave anybody on the side? And by the way, isn't this what the establishment does when they go out and they pick their candidate? Do we want to do that? No, we don't. So we must have an open process, a grassroots-driven process. And through our discussions and through our leadership, and with a little inspiration by Dave Hurst, we came up with a concept. We said, let's start looking at processes that work sort of like this in other places around the country or around the world. What are some other areas where this sort of thing happens? And, nobody throw corn at me, but we ended up looking at the caucus process. The corn joke was about Iowa, if anybody... We didn't. Okay. You've been here for a long time. I get it. I understand. We looked at the caucus process, and we have agreed that we think that the caucus process is one which could be very, very effective in allowing the grassroots activists of New Hampshire to define a process whereby we would start nominating one candidate. Here's how it works. On October 17th, we will be holding a caucus convention. All are welcome to attend. We will, in the summer, present a credentialing process. There's a number of different things which we'll go through. I'm not going to bore you with all the details of that today, but we will have a strict credentialing process to ensure that only those who are registered to vote in New Hampshire, who have been here, who have voted in Republican primaries, right? We'll have a whole list of people to ensure that we're not, ransacked by busloads of drive-by voters, okay? We will have a process in place. And the caucus will work very simply. You will come into a large room similar to this. You'll stand in the group of the candidate that you want to support. So there'll be a Rand Paul group and a Ted Cruz group and groups, Scott Walker's, and on and on and on, right? Everybody can come and can participate. And then what happens is we count the groups. And the two lowest groups get dissolved. We then have 20 minutes where the campaigns or, the activists try and recruit those people to come to their side, right? Go make the case. Why is Ted Cruz this? Or why is Rand Paul better in this situation? Come to Rand Paul, right? Go through that process, 20 minutes. We count again. Two lowest groups get dissolved. And we count again. And we count again. And we count again. Now, why do we do it this way? Why is some of the thinking about this way? Well, if we did a straw poll, we'd have the same problem that we do when we vote, right? We'd all split up our votes, and Jeb Bush would win. Here's why that process the caucus process is much better. Because as those groups are dissolved, you are merging into larger and larger and larger and larger groups. Okay? So essentially, Jeb Bush, or whoever that person is, but let's just go with this theme here. Jeb Bush would have to try and out-recruit every other campaign that's possible combined. Okay? That's not going to happen. So what we are proposing here is a very simple method that at the end of that process, whether it's 2 hours or an hour or something like that, we will have, standing together in the middle of this room, 500 or 1,000 or however many we can recruit to come, people who have said, grassroots activists who have said, we are standing here through this process. We are united around this concept, around this idea, and we are serious. We're going to do something in New Hampshire. And in fact, we're going to make our vote count. We're not going to fight against this, this absurdity. We're going to actually do something that's going to have an impact. That's what we're going to do. And that's the ultimately the caucus process. That is the how. Now, I know that there are going to be, through this proposal, there's going to be lots and lots and lots of questions. There's going to be a whole, number of things. And so what we are going to be doing, you can visit our website, 603 Alliance. We have all the cards there in front of you. And there's a contact us. We want you to go there and to email us your questions, because I know there's going to be lots of questions. And what we're going to do is we're going to post a frequently asked questions page, right, just like you guys see, where we'll be answering these questions, just, knocking them off one at a time. And when we do that, we'll email you with the information. Now, what do we need to make this process work? Well, we need your buy-in. This isn't for everybody. And there's going to be a lot of people who say, hey, look, I just don't want to be I'm not willing to do that. And that's fine. I respect that. I respect your, passion. That's great. But there's some of us who are going to do it. I believe that if we can get 500 people in October to come together and to do this, we can have an impact in the presidential election in New Hampshire, in the primary in February, by moving, our goal will be to move 25,000 votes. Now, 250,000 people will vote in the upcoming presidential primary. 250,000. Well, if you start doing the math on that, you can see that moving 25,000 voters may not win, but it is certainly going to give a massive boost to whoever that nominee is, to whoever that candidate is. And it will push them in the right direction. And I believe that if we can do that here in New Hampshire, if we can present a clear, open process of how we can come together, and we can show that it has a dramatic impact in an election, well then, why wouldn't the next states do that? Why wouldn't Nevada do that? Why wouldn't Florida do that? Right? On and on and on and on. That's our hope. That's our intent here. Yes, we want to impact the New Hampshire primary first and foremost. But we believe that there is opportunity for this to expand just beyond New Hampshire. And that ultimately is our hope and is our passion. So I know that you guys have questions. I know that there's a lot of other things that we've got to go through. I encourage you to visit our website, and we will begin communicating via email, via our website, and we will start promoting this. I want to leave you with this. We need to be recruiting as many people as possible to this process. And to that end, myself, I'm making myself available, and other members of the board, but we would love to come to your group. to your living room, right? To your coffee shop, to your whatever it is. I'd love to come and to talk to your friends, your family, and tell them about this process. Tell them what we're trying to do. Tell them about the 603 Alliance, why it's important. I want to do that. So if you're interested in having us, please, again, visit the website, and we will make sure that somebody comes out and is able to talk to you about that. Thank you very, very much for your attention.
When the cry went out on 911, a hero heard the call. There was terror in the sky.
Croc TV.